Hey guys, it's Tuesday afternoon and it's another Speedway Chat show. We have a great show for you this evening, and here is my mate Charlesy.
Yeah, hi Jerry, how are you, pal? The Breakdown King.
Oh, had an absolute mare today.
Anyway,
I phoned Charlesy earlier I had a phone call with Charlesy earlier and I was swearing and all sorts, and I was like, this is not cool. But blew the engine up in my van. Not cool.
Nice.
How's your day been, Charlesy?
Yeah, windy, wet, you know. But yeah, nothing.
Living
Speedway. Some news. So congratulations, Matty Zager, the young kid from Sweden, and KK, Grand Prix riders for 2021. That was good. SGP have come up with a unique insight to riders. They're doing a sort of a pre-show called the Talking Dirt, fueled by Monster. It's a great idea. So it's good to see Speedway moving forward. Kelvin and Nigel will be hosting that one. So I'm pretty sure the agenda is to attract more people by using the same. Anyway.
People they've always used.
So a few things happened in this Speedway. Chris Holder got to fly in a helicopter. That looked pretty exciting and done the business when he turned up. So Poland's really in full swing, and we've got the GPs this Friday. This Friday? Yeah.
It's Friday, Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Who cares about all that when our big concern is British Speedway and the British Speedway fans? So tonight we're going to talk to a couple of promoters and a rider and try to find out exactly what impact COVID has had on clubs, hopefully financially, or what they're doing to stem the tide on that. And what does the roadmap look like to get Speedway back next year post-COVID, if we're going to have a post-COVID, I guess. Obviously, if you believe the news, the chief medical officer or ex-chief medical officer, Dr. Whitty, I think his name is, reckons we're a good year or so away from a vaccine. So what's that look like for gatherings, and do they know anything? So really excited about this one in a way, because it's the first time we've had promoters on sort of since we've gone into the situation of no Speedway. So we'll see how we go. Of course, tell them, make sure they comment, say where you're listening from. Got any questions for the Somerset?
Get your questions. Get your questions in the comments below. Let us know where you're coming from. Like, share, whatever. And we're going to bring back the gold stars from last week. So if you would like to donate some gold stars to us, there was a video from last week of how you do that. And if we hit 2,000 gold stars again this week, or if we hit 4,000, then we will give away a hat every 2,000 gold stars.
4,000. Anyway,
if we get to 4,000, we got 2,250 last week. So, we did good. I was not expecting that, and I even had to give away Charlesy's hat. We only had 2 hats. I had one, and Charlesy had one, and we even gave that away.
Now I'm back to running the 5-head.
Yeah. So get the comments going. Let's get it. Let's get everybody seeing these videos, especially since we've got competition at the weekend with the Saturday night sideshow.
Not competition anyway.
No.
Hey, do you know Ant and Deck? They do a thing called "I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here." They don't do the show that tags along after that or before it.
No.
Yeah, just saying. Right. So tonight, joining us, the co-promoter of Sheffield Speedway, vice chairman of the BSPA. Going to be good to see the impacts and maybe what the BSPA are doing, but more about Sheffield and the impacts it's had and moving forward. Please welcome to the Speedway Chat Show, Damien Bates.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Damien. How are you?
Yeah, good, you.
Straight from a restaurant renovation, Damien.
Yeah, still here. I'm still here. Been up since 4:30.
Hey, making the big bucks in the Speedway and putting it into the restaurant business, eh?
Other way around. Other way around. No big bucks in Speedway.
Look, I guess the idea about tonight, mate, is obviously Debbie from Somerset will come on. I think the reason why we got you two guys was Sheffield, a totally different setup, being, you know, at a greyhound track, and Somerset being a standalone sort of environment. Just wanted to deep dive into the, you know, first and foremost, the disappointing impact it's had, but more, you know, the outlook, what's happening behind the scenes with the club, and when can 2021 be sort of stamped as if it's going to be a go ahead, in terms of, you got a few riders from abroad. So what's that look like? And is there any sort of roadmap into making sure 2021 we see bikes from March?
Well, Sheffield, it's, you know, an exciting year. We've come up from Championship back to us Thursday race nights, and you know, we signed Nicky Pedersen. You know, I don't think there are any bigger signing British Bears had in a long time. And we're all looking forward to it. We put a lot of effort into it. We spent a lot of money pre-season, from track work to buying 3 new tractors, which come at a heavy price, and track equipment, and, you know, and setting the riders up, getting the riders and all that. So a lot of money got spent. And then to obviously have this and season get cancelled, listen, it's unfortunate, you know, and there's a lot worse people than us. You know, there's a lot of people died through it, and you know, and we're lucky that we've still got a sport. We're still able to run it eventually. But yeah, it's disappointing. But you know, 2021, looking forward to that just as much as this year, and hopefully we'll be looking to keep same team.
You mentioned 2021, and I think everyone, regardless of what sport we're in, have sort of set their sights on 2021. But how much are you guys, how much is the BSPA hearing the news that the likes of little old Charles here and Jerry here, that, you know, we're a long way off a vaccine, which means the virus can spread for well into 2021. Where are your thoughts around that, and what will need to happen for Speedway to get to any sort of normality? I know it's really hard to say, mate, but all I'm thinking of is Speedway's got to be prepared a long way before March. There's a lot that you guys do to get a team together, to meet regulations, have an AGM, all that sort of stuff. At what stage, or are you guys still nervous, I guess is the ultimate the ultimate question.
Yeah, listen, we're all still nervous. Obviously, we're BSPA board, which I'm part of. We're in contact with DCMS, which is part of government for is it digital culture, media, whatever it's sport, whatever it is. It's so they're working on it to get sports and all that sort of stuff back up and running. And obviously, we're allowed to run grassroots at the moment. You've got to go to your council and get permission from them, where you can run 25-30% of your crowd, which, you know, at a venue that can hold 3,000, 25% of your crowd, still not a bad going for grassroots National League standard. So that's kind of like a test events sort of thing, because obviously tracks that are running them, Scunthorpe, Leicester, I believe Bellevue are, and Plymouth, there's a couple more, and they're obviously, so we're doing stuff to make the place secure, to make it all COVID-19, have all specifications, and try and make that happen. Now, hopefully next year, we don't know what's going to happen come March, but we'd all like to see crowds back in. At Sheffield, Allerton, I've actually had an email today that the dogs allowed to have crowds back in from the 5th September, working with council. So I think a lot of councils for every Speedway club's been that they are trying to help, and they've been very cooperative with stuff, and that they're trying to help everybody, because, you know, it's not the most profitable businesses in the world, and nobody wants to see any clubs fold or go under for all this. So councils are helping a lot of. They are talking to clubs, so I'm hopeful. Come March, I'm very hopeful that we'll be all right. So yeah, there might be no vaccine, but deaths are down, hospital admissions are down. I like that the government, soon as a foreign country gets high, they put us in quarantine. It might not suit everybody, but they're looking after our country, which I think is good. We need to look after our country. So I just think that come March, it's what, 7 months away?
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 7 months. Listen, we don't know what winter's going to do with it, but if we carry on going the way we're going now, I think I'm confident we should be all right for March. There will be COVID procedures in place. I'm sure.
Right.
I think face masks are going to be in for a long time. Not just Speed, I think in life in general. And a big state, Owlerton, 3,000 people. If I can get up to a 50% capacity, which is 1,500 people, I'd be more than happy with that. I could make that work, and I could make that all happen. So I think there's a lot of other clubs in that same situation. So I'm confident as it stands today.
Right. So I had that conversation with Jerry yesterday around crowd numbers and how it works. So just clarify: is the percentage of the people you can have in the stadium's capacity, or based on what you normally get?
Stadium capacity. So, right, I own Leicester Speedway as well. So we've just had, we're just on with council now, and they're going to our capacity at Leicester. I think it's about 2,700 or 2,900, and we're looking at 25-30%. So it works out about, I don't know, 800 people. I don't know,
Right.
I don't know exact maths on it, but 800 people. That's now. So if we can improve further down the line, if you get up to 50%, I think a lot of stadiums in the country, I think they'd be happy with that. Kings Lynn, massive stadium, I think it holds 10,000. So they're never going to fill that on a Speedway meeting. It'd be great if they did, but if you could get a percentage up to 50%, I think that could a lot of clubs could live with that.
Yeah. So
I remember back in the day, like Trelawney, St Austell Goals, it was before, we used to have about 5,000 people turn up there every week. It was rammed. But then, there's a lot of clubs aren't running anywhere near that these days, if you know what I mean. It's some clubs are talking in the hundreds, So
yeah,
are they going on, 20 years ago, we could have got 5,000 people in there.
Well,
is it 20% of that, 25% of that crowd?
It's what you stadium, because every stadium has a capacity for fire, health and safety and whatever. Yeah. So whatever your capacity of your stadium is, it's at the moment we're looking at 25% for grassroots Speedway like National League and amateur stuff. So 25% of that. So
so most speedways won't be affected because.
No,
the big places. So if you can get, what's the number, Damien? 40% on the average.
If I go at Allerton's capacity as it stands at the moment, because we're doing some work and that up there, it's 3,000. So 25%, 750. I couldn't run a Speedway meeting at Sheffield on 750. It put me out of business pretty quick. But at 50%, I could. 40%. I probably could, but anything under that, I'd be struggling. But that's top flight Speedway. If you go to a lower league, I don't know people's numbers, but I think a crowd of 750 in Championship 800, I think people could make that work. So I think the capabilities are there to get if it's a set number. If you can eventually get to 50%, I think that should suffice majority of people, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. So moving on then. So if we stayed the same or we got this capacity thing, Speedway looks very, very promising for 2021. As long as, goalposts move, like with schools now, one in Glasgow, 22 people. So they'll start to adjust things. If things stay the same, Damien, 2021, at what stage will you guys have to start committing to, you know, riders from my native country, Australia, and things like that, and where's the risk factor, you know, sort of set, because there's a lot of people out of jobs at the moment, isn't there?
There is a lot of people out of jobs, and I'd love to say that we could use British-based riders, but there isn't enough for them. We have to use Australians, Americans, and, you know, all them sort of people, which is part of the Speedway throughout the world. Really, there's only 300 Speedway riders throughout the world, so you have to bring them in from everywhere. So we it could be like any other year, really. That we commit, we put teams together. Hopefully, we all can keep the same teams, because that's what majority of clubs want to do. That, so hopefully we can do that. You know, I'd love same team back at Sheffield, and I think like come January, February, when they start booking the flights from Australia, America, I think that's when it needs to be made. We need to look at it seriously, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? It's going right way. It is going right way now, and I know schools are going to open and what have you. But that'll have to be dealt with as it comes up. But within when did this all start? March, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months, we've seen a massive improvement. So as long as, you know, if it keeps going that way, I just think we'll be all right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Hopefully, I'm hoping. You know,
yeah,
I hope I'm spot on, but I'm so listen, I was really confident that we could have done something this year.
Yeah.
We had everything in place, we had everything planned out, with everything. Fixtures were redone, riders were, some riders weren't available, some were. We worked a system out for everything for that, and then obviously the Prime Minister said on thing, we can't open stadiums till October. It just we had a plan worked out with Eurosport, we had everything. We were working every day on it, on everything. But obviously when he said that, he just put an end to it all.
Yeah, it's well, speaking of riders, I think we got someone backstage as a rider. It'd be nice to sort of work along what you're saying, Damien, around, you know, what clubs need to do to get prepared. We've got a young British rider who doesn't have the safety net of Poland and Sweden, but he's probably one of the strongest just racing in British. Is he there, Jerry?
Yeah, I can bring him in.
Yeah, let's bring him on. A great guy. He was the one that had the first crash on a Speedway Chat show. So please welcome Kyle Newman.
Hey Kyle, how are you?
Oh, he's still got the shirt on.
Oh yeah.
Kyle, just speaking to Damien around logistics of getting the club to get a team together, mate. You've had a year. You've had a big high side at Plymouth. That probably cost you some money, and mate, you haven't had an income. What's it been like for you now, and then hearing the news that Speedway's done this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the start of the year, everybody spends out loads on their bikes anyway, getting all prepared. You know, you service your engines, buy new chassis. It's a big outlay. So to then at the start of the year be told there was no Speedway, admittedly, it was wasn't a shock with the way things were going, unfortunately. But then you were just sort of hanging on, as everybody was. Unfortunately, it was nothing we could do. But to then get the final sort of, no, it's not happening this year, it just took the wind out of yourselves. I mean, I was actually quite lucky. I've been working all the way through. I worked all the way through the winter, so luckily financially I was okay. But I know there's going to be some guys out there who couldn't necessarily get jobs, and it would have hit them really hard. And hopefully they've sort of managed to sort something, and just hopefully this virus can clear off and get back to racing next year.
The knock-on effect after, you know, that is, if they haven't had the money, haven't had the work, you know, are their bikes going to be up to it for next season? Are they going to be able to even afford to put themselves in the position to be race ready for next season? You know, I think we're going to miss quite a few riders that are sort of in that bracket of they're not at the grassroots level, National League and things like that, and they can earn something. And they're also not in the top flight Polish, Swedish leagues and things like that. You know, there's a lot of riders that are in the UK that are at that point where they're not those top internationals, but they're also not, you know, the National League guys.
Well, that's it. And admittedly, some of those guys would have probably gone and found jobs, and who knows, there might be some that sort of said, well, I'm actually comfortable in a job, you know, getting a steady income. Hopefully there's not too many of them guys. We want to see as many of us getting on the bikes and racing as possible. We'd all love to be flying out to Poland and racing out there and Sweden and that, but it's not possible for us all to go out there. So hopefully everybody sort of managed to get on okay with it. Admittedly, that's why I haven't done too many practicing this year, because I know we're not racing until next year potentially. So why go and just wreck the bikes? It's, you know, you can practice and practice and practice, but for me, I'm at a point in my career where going out and riding laps without 3 other guys next to me, that's not going to benefit me. I need to be racing to benefit me. So if I just go and practice, all I'm really achieving is just wearing the bikes down and undoing all that good work that you've done in winter by getting the bikes ready for a race season.
Yeah. Damien, Kyle makes a great point there about, you know, practicing costs money or wears things down. I guess there's going to be a little bit of nervousness around for clubs the start of next year. There's going to be a lot of cold blokes out there that haven't rode for a period of time. I guess you're in a position with your team that your Aussie riders will ride. Nicky's obviously riding. But is there been any talk around that to maybe get the season underway and a bit more practice beforehand, as opposed to just the press and practice day?
I think, you know, I think there's a few clubs around the country where you can go and practice: Scunthorpe, Kingsley, Leicester, Redcar. And I think come next year, I'm sure that clubs will be I'm sure they'll be having team practice somewhere, renting tracks or doing things like that, you know, to help everyone. I'll be doing it at both Leicester and Sheffield. I'll make as much track time as available as I can. So I'm sure every club will be thinking on them lines, because they don't want somebody on road for over a year, because that's a long time off a bike. As you know, Kyle said, it's a long time off a bike, that, and there'll be a few rusty people, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Kyle, you mentioned the expense at the start of the year. Without putting a figure on it, how much does it cost?
A lot. You know, that's why Speedway, as Damien would know, it's imperative to have good sponsors. You know, without sponsors, no rider or club would continue to run. I've got a great bunch of sponsors, and they've all helped me out massively. And without that money, the bikes wouldn't be where they are. So that kind of goes back to my point, obviously. And like Damien said, you know, come to the start of the year, hopefully I know Plymouth doing practices as well, which is ideal for me. Try and not flip it off the back of it next time I go out. But
if you do, we'll try and get it on camera, though.
Oh, please don't.
so more people can see it.
Yeah. Just go the other end of the track next time. But you know, you're obviously always going to make sure you're prepared. I'm just taking it easy at the moment because we're not going to be racing in the very near future. Obviously, same as always. You come to the end of the season, you have a little break from Speedway, sort of a month or two before you start getting back into it, doing a practice each week or so, and get ready for the start of the year. So that will be the plan again for next year, providing we can start in March. And you know, sometimes you just have to come rain or shine, and splash through the puddles if need be, just to get on the bike.
I was going to say, are you going to do this, which one of our viewers has put in? Do you think a lot more riders will go to Australia in the winter? No, because quarantine measures in Australia mean that it's $3,000 if you go on your own, or $4,000 for 2 people. That's probably going to blow that out. A great idea though, Craig, Smee, and I guess riders might have thought about it, but Australia and Victoria at least Victoria's out of bounds for a lot of people now for the foreseeable future. A great idea, good climate, some good racing. You've been out there as well, haven't you, Kyle?
Yeah, I did 7 winters out there, or summers out there. So I had loads of racing out there. But
Fly.
yeah,
He thought that was brilliant. He was clapping.
But yeah, no, it's funny that question coming up actually, because I've been seeing catching up with Zane Kellerer quite a bit from Paul. He can't even get a flight back home at the moment. He just had a flight cancelled. He's stuck over here, and he said it's now not just the cost of the flight; it's the cost of the quarantine for him when he gets home. So that's an Aussie rider who can't even get back to Australia. So I think for any potential British or European riders to go over is kind of out of the question at the moment. It's I think we're just I think you'll probably see a lot more Speedway riders going and doing a bit of motocross in the winter. I've been doing the old twin chock and scrambles. I've done one Sunday, but keeping on a bike, it keeps your bike fit. You can go and hammer it away in the gym, go running. There is nothing like getting on a bike and actually riding.
Yeah,
sure.
He has it. It was good. For anyone that's just tuned in, Damien's renovating a restaurant he bought at Sheffield and is invited, because of COVID, the Speedway community up for a free steak. Being a Yorkshireman, right?
I don't think so.
just a Speedway Chat show.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah. I'm in for a freebie. I don't normally like to ask, to be honest.
Maybe not free. Maybe a discount. A discount.
Yeah. Charlesy would drive all the way from Wales to Sheffield to get a free dinner.
Oh yeah, would not.
Shane, every other sentence comes out of your mouth as asking for a freebie.
Did you get your hat back?
No, he's still got it. Of course, he's still got it. I'm surprised he hasn't got it on right now, to be fair.
Well, I thought, no, because you said the other day when I spoke to you, I forgot about my hat. I thought maybe like you got one of those memories. If I don't wear it, you'll forget about it again.
I forget.
You should have worn it tonight, Charlesy.
I thought I'd just go fly that route anyway.
Right. So Debbie Hancock is coming in and out of this chat like there's no tomorrow. A minute ago, she had 2 videos going on. I think she doesn't think that we can see her. Well, I can see her. At the moment, she's looking, the camera's straight up her nose.
Oh, dear.
Should we bring her on anyway?
Flick that view on.
Oh, we're going to try run. Hi, Debbie.
No idea. You're live. Hi, Debbie. She can't hear us, can she?
No.
Can she hear us?
Who knows? Looks like she just got out of the shower.
Don't know.
There's a dial-up connection in Somerset.
Oh, here she is.
No.
Nah, she's not there.
She's in Somerset, isn't she? She got no internet.
They ain't got internet there, have they?
She like low.
Yeah. They've only just got running water.
Well, hopefully that will improve. So we'll move her aside. Oh, look at Chunky. Good boy. Jeez. What's that?
Oh, she's laughing. We've got audio.
Hello, Debbie.
How are you?
I'm really struggling to hear you guys. Headphones or no headphones?
She's alive.
No, I've got the dog barking. Great. Go and try something else.
Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me now? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's just waste time.
Tell us how you really feel. I don't know.
Maybe put it back for a second, yes.
Yeah, we'll put her backstage and see if it gets a better connection in a second.
Wow. Live shows.
There we go.
Pre-recorded stuff that might be going out this weekend, but anyway. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Kyle,
Yeah.
what have you been doing for work, bud?
Sort of delivery driving for a window company. Up and back to London most days. Sometimes help fit him a little bit. Yeah, just sort of slave labour. But no, it's good. It's good fun. I really appreciate the company giving me some work. Yeah, there's not much to it really. Just hop in a van and drive up to London and drive back.
There's going to be some waiter jobs up in the Yorkshire area coming up soon. They'll be taking.
Listen, I've already got 3 Speedway riders working for me. I've got 3 working, so I can't have any more.
Oh, who you got working for you?
I've got Ty Proctor.
Oh no!
Yeah, he works out on because I work for Yorkshire Water, so
Right.
he's working digging holes in roads. I've got Josh McDonald because he can't get a flight back to Australia, so he's just doing all ice skiing really. Makes me coffee and tea mostly. And then who else? We've got my nephew Josh. He's out on gangs digging holes as well.
Wow! So you're really digging deep. But that's nothing against you, Kyle. That he likes internationals. It's just that he's fully booked at the moment, mate.
Yeah, once some of them get a flight back to Aussie, I'll be all right.
They're stuck over here. They can't get flights, can they?
Yeah.
No.
Have they got work? They got work visas for outside Speedway.
Ty has, yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, Josh is English, and Chunk just helps me for free. Josh McDonald helps me for free.
Oh, does he? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he just makes me free. He just makes me cups of tea. Kills time.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah, Dave's got my hat. Well done, Dave. I'll let that back one day. So COVID, Kyle. You not known anyone affected, mate. Been quite safe yourself, and
Well, my partner, she works in the NHS, and she had the antibody test, and she's tested positive for having it at some point. Yeah, she didn't even know it at the time. She just lost the sense of smell for a week or 2. But
right.
it was so, she didn't even think about it. She didn't even it didn't even come into the equation. So it was only when they offered her the antibody test that they went, yeah, you've had it. I mean, I thought I had man flu over Christmas, so who knows? I might well have had it, but we all know man flu is worse than just normal flu.
Yeah.
So
Vouch for that.
who knows? It could have been COVID. Might not. It's but I feel good in myself at the moment. So, and I've been travelling to and from London. So if I was going to get it, I'd have imagined I'd have
Debbie's
got it at the height
doing
of
this
it.
in a thing. Don't know. Let's bring her in. Can you hear us now? Can we hear you? That's a better connection.
I can hear you now. That's better. Sorry.
What was you doing with your ears a second ago?
That meant I could hear you. I couldn't hear you before. I could just see you all laughing at me.
Why is she shouting?
That happens all the time.
She's in Somerset. It's really far away.
I've got no connection down here.
So we just waiting for Adrian Smith from Bellevue to join, aren't we? I think. Oh no, we don't have him. Oh, okay, the personal joke there. How are you, Debbie?
I'm good, thanks, Chelsea. How are you?
Yeah, me, living the dream. We spoke to Damien around the sort of Sheffield logistics of all this, and we spoke to Kyle from a rider's point of view. Oak Tree Arena, standalone. I guess how we just sum up the impact, apart from devastating this year, and what's your roadmap back, I guess?
It's not often you get 2 P45s in 1 year, but that's what I've got. Yeah, we just hope that 2021 is going to be a lot better than 2020 on both sides of the coin, whether that be Speedway or obviously running the function suite at the Oak Tree, because both are closed.
Right. And is there provisions or is it too inconsistent now is it not financially viable to sort of start a program under the risk that it's going to get shut again?
No. What you mean with the Oak Tree itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You guys have been there. It's a big function room. As it stands, you can only have 30 people at any function, so it's just not viable to run with 30 people. If it were 100, it would be different. but 30 it would cost me more to run it than it would to leave it shut. So the decision has been made to keep it closed until after Christmas to the new year, and hopefully there's a resolution and we will all be back or semi back to normal. So that's fingers crossed.
I live in Newquay in Cornwall, and all the pubs here, they've only got 30 people in them.
Yeah, so they
it's a joke. There is never 30 people in those pubs. They are rammed. It's a joke. Absolute joke.
Yeah, we've got some local to us that aren't obeying the rules, but I think they will get caught up with it in the long term. So hey,
yeah.
What about the riders that you had lined up for this year, Debbie? Damien's obviously proactive and speaking to his guys, and everyone wants the same guys back. What's the feeling amongst your boys?
Yeah, we're keeping the same 7 and going to win the championship, so that's no problem.
All right. Okay.
We just got it on ice for a year, no problem.
Oh, it's done, is it? Yeah. All done.
Yeah, done deal.
Oh.
Tell Stuart Dixon. I hope he's watching.
Oh, geez. Okay. But Damien was just saying that it doesn't look like you're going to have your license next year.
Yeah, just because he's vice chairman, he thinks he's it. That's the trouble, Charles. There, you don't know him.
He says if you don't own 2 clubs, you're not a promoter. That's it.
Oh, that old chestnut. He's been in it 5 minutes. Got one handful of titles, not 2, and you think he knows it all. That's his problem.
Listen, I've won quite a few things.
I've had one champions ride for me too.
Oh dear. Carry on.
What did you say? What did you say?
Kyle, have you rode for either Sheffield or Somerset?
Pardon?
Title with me. Didn't you, Kylie?
Yeah. We won Knockout Cup as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Worst season of his life, he was saying earlier.
You what?
Worst season of his life, he was saying earlier before you come on.
Rubbish. And we have a lot in common because that shirt's the top shirt.
Yeah, it's a shit-ass North London shirt. He did say, though, getting paid insider worked well.
That's the season he's ever been to.
On a serious note, Deb, obviously no income coming in. How has it affected, mental health with the club? And are you guys doing anything to support each other?
Well, obviously the boys have, some gone back to Oz, one's in America. The few English boys, most of them I know have got work. So they're obviously just sort of changed their life around like we've all had to. I've gone back onto the farm and been painting the stadium and, just keeping myself busy, really active. I did have a little bit of a blip in the middle, but I've got over that now. And it's, I think a bit like the riders, really, not knowing what was going to happen and waiting around all the time. But once you know, I think you just, you try and get on with it then because the decision's been made and you have no choice. Yeah,
no one's had a choice this year. I think that's the frustrating bit with it all. I asked Damien the question earlier, are you nervous around 2021 in terms of the goalposts are changing ridiculously fast in terms of what you can do, what you can't do? You guys both on the BSPA board. So in terms of Somerset as a club, Deb, what's worst case scenario, I guess?
Worst case scenario, not running again in 2021?
Yeah.
I sell it as a building site. Sorry, battery's going flat. No, I just plugged it in. I don't really know, and I push things like that under the carpet because until you're actually going to be faced with that, then I think we all have to make decisions for ourselves if and when that happens. And God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's just I think. God, yes.
Oh no, there's a completely different question here, which I thought was quite a good one, especially since you're both on the BSPA board, about having both leagues mixed together. A lot of the riders are doubling up and things like that, so they're going to get the same amount of rides if they're 2 leagues have doubled up. Is that something that do you think the BSPA would ever look at doing?
Go, Dave.
Yeah, I thought
Either of you.
that one. Listen, we spoke about it. We spoke about that. We get spoke about it every year. I've north and south. If you look at Championship this year, they were having their plan was to have race every once, but then like a northern group and southern group, where more local, where they do each other ride each other twice. So that was kind of a little way it was going, but it is difficult. It is difficult to have north and south really for riders, and you're still gonna have double up riders between, and nobody likes doubling up. We all hate doubling up. Fans hate doubling up. Everybody who watches Speedway hates doubling up. But
so in this question was though is to have like one league, so the Premiership and the Championship is now one league, so you wouldn't have the doubling
riders. There ain't enough riders. There were 28 double uppers last year. Until we get more riders coming or youngsters coming through, the doubling up's going to have to stay because there just ain't enough riders. I believe it was 28 double uppers last year between both leagues.
Where do the riders come from, Craig? Damien. No, Craig.
Craig.
What do you mean? Where do they come from?
Where you say
mums?
Riders? So
their mums.
where, you know, a lot of our viewers go back to, you know, how many Grand Prix riders ride in the UK?
I think it's just not to focus on that one because, you know, I think we need to. With England's doing very well. Great Britain's doing very well with youth at the moment. Youth program they've got is fantastic, and it's over the last few years you can see all riders who's coming through it from like start with like Robert Lambert were a part of it, and then you've got Kyle Bickley's and Leon Flint's, all them who's all come through, and if you see how many's at the GB Youth Championship, there's a lot of them, and they tend to quick fix, but within 4 or 5 years you'll see a big influx of British riders, which will help with doubling up. You know, we'd all love to see Ty Wolfendens and Bartok Smarzlitz and all them in England. Of course we would, but it's not financially viable. That's been straight at true fight. You know, a lot of clubs couldn't afford these sort of riders, and no club's going to put their club in jeopardy just to get a top superstar rider and fold halfway through. Yeah, you know, everybody's got to be sensible. So until we get, you know, even, you know, Swedes, there always used to be quite a few Swedes to come to England. There's hardly any now. I think there's 1 or 2. Danes, there's always like the Danish riders. You always get them, so we need to keep using them. Australians, again, you know, they're vital to it. Until other people like Australians and England and all that start producing some more riders and sending them over from Australia, America, whatever, we're still going to keep with doubling up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair point. Polish Speedway, just off cuff. Kyle, what's your thoughts on Polish Speedway?
I've been watching a bit. It's some of the meetings have been great, some of the meetings not been so good. It's all about personal experience. I mean, I've had some pretty bad experiences over there where I've gone and you sort of travel over there, do the meetings for free when you sign up for clubs at the start of the year. You do well and then you don't get used again. But then on the flip side, some riders go over there and they get a really good club and they get paid well and they keep getting selected. So I think it's all dependent on what club you go to and the time and the timing of it, because some clubs are going well at times and some aren't so well at times, and it's just finding the right match. I mean, you look at Lambert at the moment; he's absolutely flying over there, and it's really good to see. Whereas there's been a few other British riders have gone over there, and it's not gone down too well. So it's I think it's all down personal preference of the rider, to be honest.
I think everyone sees the Polish league as the big thing, but Brady Kurtz fell to the chopping stone this year and really wasn't having that bad of a year either, was he? So can we learn anything, the two promoters, can we learn anything from Polish Speedway on how they get to it, or is it purely about crowd numbers?
Polish Speedways, I know it's a Speedway same, but it's a different animal to English Speedway. You know, look at the crowds, look at their TV deal's phenomenal, the sponsorship they get is phenomenal, and you know, myself, Debbie, and other members, we're working on so much stuff behind the scenes. We sponsorship with everything to try and get us in the whole Speedway more financially stable and a lot better, because you know we'd all like to be like Poland, but things with Poland, I think Speedway is second largest sport in country after football. You know what Speedway in England, it must be 50th, 100th, I don't know. So it's all that challenge. Everything comes down to pounds and pennies in everything, every walk of life, and Speedway is no different. If we were getting 10,000 in at our stadiums, or even getting capacity at our stadium, you'd see a completely different sport, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'd just like to mention though, Kyle, you never rode for me for free. You see good Poland riding for free.
Oi!
Never rode for me for free. Did he ride for you, Debbie, for free?
Yeah.
All right. I must feel...
You obviously got it wrong.
But
Yeah, I must have.
I think he said this because the Northerners are tight.
After we come up free steak at that restaurant, I reckon he would ride for you.
Yeah.
yeah, I might think about it then. But no, that is...
Okay, so last week, this is more to the Debbie and Damien. Last week and the week before, we've had a bit of a discussion on the show around Speedway in general, and a big thing that come out of it, and I will speak on behalf of people that said it, that they feel a lot of viewers feel that they're being penalised for the lacking crowd numbers with the admission going up, as opposed to the clubs promoting the sport and attracting new people to keep the admission down. First of all, Debbie?
It's hard. It's very, very difficult. Well, I think, you know, we need the fans. We've proved that this year. We can't open our doors without them. We also need really good sponsors. But you know, we don't all show our business to everyone, do we? And I think if they saw some of the underlying costs that we have to pay per meeting, I think they'd understand a little bit more. For instance, medical. We all have to have an ambulance cover and a paramedic. It isn't cheap, trust me, and it's going up year on year. This is something that we are looking at as a group of directors at this moment in time. Secondly, there's things like tyres. Then there's, you know, electricity, just the referees' fees, all those sort of things have got to come out of that 15, 16 pounds, whatever we charge per head to come into the stadium. And as for promoting it, my God, in Somerset, and I got to take Somerset, and I know, and I'll take my hat off to what Damien did last year when he changed days. I could not believe what he was doing. He had billboards, he had this, he had that, and he was really annoying me because he had so much blinking stuff, and I thought he's going to end up with thousands, but he didn't. It didn't work, and he didn't admit that. And I rely on my holiday makers, and I blitz the local holiday areas like Breen and Burnham and Weston. Because we're not in a city like Sheffield or Poole, or, you know, so our crowd come from far and wide. So if it's raining 20 miles down the road in Taunton, they ain't coming. Doesn't mean to say it's not raining at Somerset. Just because it's raining on their doorstep, they're not coming. So your crowd numbers go down there. But promoting things, it's so hard to know where to put it. And I think over the last 10 years, I think I've literally tried everything. I've even tried school booklets and ran competitions on a monthly basis that goes home with the kids in their bags. I've done kids parties. It's so frustrating because, you know, I've done local radio. It's hard. It really, really is hard. But out of that, say we all charge £16 per person. Trust me, I ain't going home with £10 of that in my pocket. I'm lucky after VAT and everything else if I'm going home with 50 pence in my pocket, and that's got to help to go to my away meetings and everything else. And that's another thing. Out of that £16, say, we've got to pay for the away riders. You know, when our team goes to, you know, so we go to Leicester, I've got to pay for my boys' wages when I go to Leicester, not just when they're at Somerset. So there's an awful lot to come out of that.
Well, Hopefully that's cleared something up.
I covered it all.
I guess, Damien, do you mirror that as well?
Listen, exactly what you said is you've got your admission, then you've got straight away you've got your VAT you've got to pay out of it. So that's a few quid out of every admission. You've got your away riders, your away team. Say you're doing 1 a week. Sometimes if you've got 2 and 3 a week, if it falls bad, it ends up costing you money. And I'll be straight. I don't have all to hide and stuff. Last year at Sheffield, I moved race day. I advertised through Sheffield, unbelievable, and I probably lost 20 grand on that advertising. That come out of my pocket and Peter's pocket. It didn't come from nowhere else. And from people think that people don't try or don't promote, they are sadly mistaken. They are really, because everybody tries. We have AGMs, we try and come up with ideas, and it's just so hard to get people in. And for me, £16, I'll be honest with you, isn't enough to be charging. Yeah. It needs to be £20, but we know we can't do that. We know we can't do it. I've tried £10 for weeks and weeks, trying to get more people. Thought if I put it as a tenner, it don't. Just people who come to get cheaper. So you end up losing money on that. I give a free meeting away a couple of years at the beginning of the season. I had 3,000 people. 3,000 people in at Sheffield.
Yeah.
Week after, I'll back to my crowd at 1,200, 1,300. So, there's a lot of things that everybody tries, and the costs are, they are a lot of costs. You don't even think like you've got to have circuit fees, referees fees, medics, tyres, insurance. There's all the electric, your gas, electric for running your air fences, trackman. There's shale. The list is unbelievable.
The list goes on.
To be honest, I don't even know why I do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I do it.
I was one of the people that spoke as well. Now, I remember going back years and years having conversations with Debbie at Somerset around the whole how do you do it. I think my argument last week, guys, was I don't see it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't see. How do you put it? If 500 people hopped on a plane to go to Australia, 500 people have dead set paid a different amount, but the end result's the same. 30,000 people go to Cardiff. You can go there for £11, or you can go there for £300, £400, £500, £1,000. The end product that you get as that person is exactly the same in terms of the event. What's different is the people putting money or wanting to pay for a better experience. Why don't we see that economy, business, and first class ticket program in Speedway that we do see with football and big events? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But I always feel that Speedway hasn't got that. My personal experience, I've tried having at Allerton, they've got fantastic facilities of executive boxes, and I've tried for the last 5 years to sell them. I've tried doing deals, and I just fail because people who come to Sheffield, I'm not, I don't feel that they want that. I don't feel that they want to come and spend that. They want to come and watch the Speedway, maybe have pie and chips, pint of lager, and go home, which is fine. I used to that when I used to go watch Sheffield before I bought it. That's what I'd do. I'd go have a carvery. I'd just go and go home. I wasn't interested in the executive boxes or whatever. I just think it's just my opinion. That's just the way our sport is, personally.
Okay, and then that's probably an answer that I needed to hear, because I think without knowing the reasons behind it, it's easy to say, why don't they do that? And the one thing I know about British Speedway is demographic has a massive influx or influence on who you get and how many you get through and what business model you need to run. You do a lot with that little section off the clubhouse, Debbie, in terms of a bit of an area for VIPs, is it still?
Yeah, absolutely. That's 9 times out of 10 that's filled with sponsors, because I always try and get a sponsor, a meeting sponsor on top of my sponsors that I've got. And I'm lucky because cases are just down the road, so they're always in there. And with my other sponsors. So yeah, that's normally pretty packed, that area. So I am quite lucky with that. Far better than Alton and his boxes.
Kyle, as a rider, you're hearing this from promoters now, and you've been around a long time, mate. Rode for some big clubs. As a rider, do you boys talk about anything else, or you just turn it up to get your money, or what's your thoughts on the sport, and is there any ways to improve?
Look, I've seen clubs like Damien where they've tried religious amounts of things. I've been at clubs where they don't try a thing, and Speedway, the famous term, it's a Marmite sport. You either go there and you love it, or you go there and you don't. And I'm not on the level of Damien and Debbie to know the ins and outs of it. So to be honest, we're better off just turning up, riding, doing what we love, and trying to entertain the fans, and try and leave that to them guys. If we can assist in any way we can, and Debbie knows that I've always been to. Well, I think we've done the Bath and West show for a couple of years where it was all classic bikes, and we took the bike down on a stand. Always happy to do that. I still do that with the grass track boys that go there now. But as riders, we don't see. There's no way of telling, but if you've gone and done that, whether that's attracted any more people in or not. Unless they physically come to you and say, "Oh yeah, I came because I saw you here," or "This happened." So we'll leave that down to the promoters, and all I can say from a rider's point of view is if we can help in any way, shape or form, I know on a personal note, I always am happy to do that.
Right. Well, we've only got about 3 minutes to go. Here's the link to that question. Is the show enough, or does there need to be entertainment to start to attract other people? Debbie?
Entertainment's a difficult one. That's something else that I've tried. But say the weather's not great, how can you put an act, say, on, a centre green when it's hot, when it's going to start raining, or you want to get a meeting through quickly because the clouds are beckoning? It's so hard. Something I've tried.
Look, this isn't a negative conversation. This is just things that people have come up, and the reason we wanted you guys on was to tell people exactly how hard it is. And everyone's a couch hero, aren't they? Me included. I think I can run the world if I try. But it is in terms of attracting new people, mean getting street cred with things that are right here, right now, in terms of it-bit celebrities, or one-hit wonders, for example, someone off Love Island, and someone in the now to, I'm thinking that because introducing people is really hard to a motorsport.
Speedway can't afford Love Island. Lucy lives around the corner from me, and I'm friends with her mum and dad. She was on Love Island last year. Lucy Donlan. Yeah. She lives literally just around the corner from my house, and I played golf with her dad the other day, and she got like 35 grand for doing a load of tweets for some brand or something.
Okay, Jerry, it was an example, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but how ridiculous is that? That's a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah. Okay. But anyway.
So Damien, what's your thought on that? Obviously, because there's comments here, and everyone says it. It's 15 minutes. It's that gaps, isn't it? That unless you're a diehard fan and no one understands, is there room? Is there a budget, or do you guys discuss that and then look at the expense and go, it's just not affordable?
Listen, if you put our sport in context of money compared to something like football, rugby, we are quite cheap, but like Debbie said, getting stuff organised and you don't know if there's going to be a crash or something might happen, rain might come. It's very difficult to organise stuff. And again, I'll be honest with you, everything comes down to how much it costs, because it's very tight at Speedway, very, very tight. You know, some weeks I might make money, and then the week after I might lose double what I made the week before. And, you know, Debbie's same. And it's just that fine line where do you take a risk on some stuff? Do you take a risk on other stuff? I'll be honest, like I employed Nikki this year. I took a risk on with Nikki, hoping that I'd bring people in for me. You know, that was a risk that I was prepared to take. I brought Jack Holder in. I brought Josh Cousin in. I brought good riders in because I wanted to take that risk to try and do it, because, you know, it's all about risk, but sometimes you've got to be calculated risk, or risks that are not worth doing. You have to think about it a lot, about everything you do, everything.
Yeah. Deb?
Well, yeah, I brought Jason Doyle in, didn't I? I took a big risk with that, and he was the Somerset favourite. Everybody said, "Oh, get Doyle, get Doyle." I did it. I got him. You know, as world champion as well, which is a double whammy. And I didn't get any footfall through the gate, and that's the reason. You know, yeah, we had to go back to the championship, because if I couldn't get people through the gate for Doyle, I wasn't going to get them through the gate for anyone. In my opinion, otherwise Somerset wouldn't have been there.
So going back to what we were saying before about entertainment and stuff, not just because Charlesy's here, but I remember we went to Steady's testimonial, and Charlesy was on the mic, and you know, and it was a breath of fresh air for Speedway. You know, I remember him, he was walking around the crowd, he was chatting to people. I remember there's a bloke stood there and he was head to toe in pool outfit. He had the bloody trousers, the top, everything. And Charlesy walked straight up to him and said, "So how long have you been a Swindon fan?" Right? The whole crowd were pissing themselves laughing, right? And it was that bit that was filling in that boring bit when the people who don't know nothing about Speedway turn around and go, "Oh yeah, there was this bloke and he was taking the piss out of people in the crowd, and then he was going up to riders. They were coming out to choose their gate positions for the final or whatever." And Charlesy's there with a microphone just going, "What are you kicking the floor for?" You know, and just having a laugh with the boys, making them more personable, but also jumping around in the crowd and just chatting like
I think what we did at Somerset, Deb, worked, didn't it, when we had guess the race time.
This is a true story. My main sponsor, Scene from Cases Number Scene, he always talks about you. Whatever happened to Charlesy when I see him? He said, "We need him back." So I'm booking you back in 2021. Now you're back.
By the accounts of this conversation, you can't afford me.
You're not a Love Island star, Charlesy.
Yeah. But I tell you what, we worked really hard on trying to engage the fans that year in terms
Brilliant.
of...
It was very, very good.
And people wanted to play Guess the Time. It was, you know, when someone won, it was something about everyone was waiting for the time when no one ever really cared about the time unless you wrote it in your thing. But look, there's not a, you know, I can't single-handedly save well, but I think Jerry and I
try.
Yeah, we try. A thing around entertainment is can go a little bit of a way to help them, but you know, I'm not you guys, but fuck, how time flies. Thanks for finally getting here after the gym, Deb.
One of us has got to look after ourselves on that top table, Charlie.
Yeah. Damien, when's the restaurant open and opening night and Speedway Chat show invited? No doubt for a freebie.
He's always asking for an invite. I'll think about that.
Okay. Kyle, good to see you, mate. Good to see that you're occupying your time and keeping safe. And all three of you, all the very best for the immediate future in your own lives. And hope 2021, we're talking about winning championships and how good your local teams are.
Yeah, he's going well.
She's winning. Debbie's not winning anything with that team. That's a fact.
Your nephew's in it, so don't say that.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, that's why he's saying it.
That's why.
Debbie, if you just when we just put you backstage, just hang there a sec. We'll just say a quick hello behind the scenes, if you don't mind, Deb.
Yeah, absolutely, Charlie. Be good.
All right, no problems. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
Good morning, don't be late.
Good morning.
10:30. Directors meeting. You always forget.
I forgot. Yeah.
And that's why Speedway's the way it is.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, guys.
All right.
You
Cheers,
asked,
guys.
hang
Take it
on,
easy.
2 seconds.
Cheers.
2 seconds. Gary Sibley. We didn't ask him a question. What was it? Hang on. We get this. We get carried away. Entrance fee. Public want more for the money. Which question, Gary? I don't want to be blown up on messages. Gary Sibley. What else did he put? Nothing. Can't find it. Anyway, we'll find it.
Right. Cool.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
I'll just get rid of these guys. Right. Oh,
What did we miss?
There we
Sorry,
go.
Gary. We missed something.
Dunno.
We asked our questions. We don't get them answered. Very hard because we didn't have any questions before the start of the show. And then we get on a topic and they come in. So sorry, we are trying to please everyone and we struggle to do so sometimes, don't we, Jez?
we do sometimes, yeah.
This Friday night, GP's back. Hope to see you all watching that. That'll be good. There we go. That was good.
Is that it? Yeah. So, should we talk about what I was supposed to go to Plymouth for today before my disaster?
No.
No. Don't want to talk about that?
No.
We could do it talking about it.
No, we're already over. It's
Okay.
an hour and 6 years.
Okay.
All right.
Who back in for the GPs, guys? There we go. That was his question.
What was it?
Who do you think's gonna? Who do you reckon's gonna win Friday, and who do you reckon's gonna win Saturday?
I've changed my mind. I'm going for Jason Doyle. I'm always going for Jason
Controversial.
Doyle, but I think he's coming into form. I always want to see one of the Aussie boys win. Who do I think's going to win? Geez, the form book was thrown out the window last week in Poland, wasn't it? So I don't think. Oh, Simon, I don't think Janowski's that quick at the moment. But
He was on form at the beginning of the season, wasn't he? But
yeah, he was, along with Fudnoff and Artem was, having a mixed bag, and it's really hard with Ty at the moment as well. I don't know whether there's an underlying thing or is it just haven't seen him ride as much. He doesn't appear to have that little edge that he used to have. But again, love to see Ty do well. Look, I think Speedway's going to be the winner to see, the very best boys in action again. So that's the only thing. Looking forward to the new show that's coming out with Nigel and Kelvin. Sometimes I forget their name. Speedway's the winner. Hopefully our shows influence them to do something like that. So we'll see what it's about. Very good. Madsen, haven't really heard much of him this year. Judy, haven't heard much. Not a big fan. Chugchaganov, is he a wild card? Is he? That's the Roslover, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, he is. More than
he's going good. He is going good.
Who's
I want to see ML do well. I'd love to see Ash Tech get a world title.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
And I think it'd be good to see him do well. And let's see how he goes this weekend.
Well, I'll be tuning in on my phone because apparently it's on BT and that. So it is still BT. Yeah. So anyway, got to go.
What's with the hair dyeing, Chelsea?
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. My Mrs. Border really must know. No, she didn't. That's grey, man. Look, that was great.
Right, guys.
Oh, hang on 2 seconds. I'm not a fan because he's Danish. No, I shouldn't say that. I went to Legoland in Denmark. They were good hospitality. Go Madsen. Go Madsen. All right. Good night.
All right, guys. Cheers. See ya.